What's the first question? How to attain freedom of fear of death? I've heard a celebrity who said something like this. He said, "I'm not afraid of death. I just don't want to be there when it happens." Of course. Well, in order to remove your fear of something, you have to understand what that fear is all about. Do you understand death at all? If you understand death, maybe you're not fearful of it. It's only for those things that you don't understand, you don't know, you're so clouded about that you're afraid of it. When you unveil the cloudiness of that thing that you are so fearful of, maybe it's nothing. So why don't you dig more into what is death? Your question should be, what is death, and not how to be free of death. Now I can answer your questions. I say, understand death. Not just understand death, understand living, understand life. If you don't even understand living and life, what's the point of understanding death? Living is of the present moment, death is of tomorrow. I'm not saying 10 years later, 12 years later. You encounter death anytime, but not now, unless your food poisoned. But still, even if your food poisoned, you still can go to the hospital. So you have to understand your living, you understand your life first. So there's so many things you have to understand before you understand death. I suggest to you that you should ask questions like, what is living? Why do I come to this world? Why do I get born into this world? Why is death always confronting me? Why do you have to go through the process of dying? And if there's reincarnation, why do you have to go through the process of being reborn? Those are the questions. But I can suggest some for you, something to read about. The book, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, that's a thorough explanation of what death is all about. The Tibetan Book of the Dead. A very famous classical book written in Tibetan language, but translated into English. Once you thoroughly understand that book, you would not be afraid of death. Venerable, could you please describe enlightenment in simple terms? Enlightenment, if I put it in simple terms, is to be awakened. To be enlightened is, say, to awake. We're all living in a dream right now. We're not awake. Everybody is living in a dream. We love this dream. We're obsessed with the dream. And the Buddha has awakened from the dream. And he told us, do you want to be awakened from the dream? Go into the enlightenment process, then you'll awake from the dream. So I would like to say, describe enlightenment. Buddha. What's the meaning of Buddha? Bud is complete understanding of the truth. The is the person, the teacher. The person who understands universal truth. That's Buddha. He has awakened from a dream also. It means also awakened from a dream. We're living in a dream. We want to be awake from the dream. All these questions are good questions. However, we need a lot of time to explain and answer it. And if you just come for one sitting, it may just create some interest in you. You should explore more into it. Buddhism is not about just superstition. Buddhism is not just about ceremonies. Buddhism is not burning an incense stick and put it in a burner. Buddhism is not just offering flowers and fruits. Buddhism is an understanding of human life. By living it, by thoroughly understanding all its implications. By understanding your interactions to society, your interactions among different people, your interactions to your family, your job, or your members. That's Buddhism. Don't put a superstitious coat onto a universal truth. Next question, welcome back. You have been away in Asia and for some time now. Can you tell us a little of what you did there? I've been away in Asia for a month now, and I have not stopped. I've been lecturing. The second day I arrived in Hong Kong, I started lecturing, give a lecture. And I've been giving a lecture on consciousness, the 8 consciousnesses. And that subject is related to the psychology of Buddhism, which in the Sanskrit language is called Vijnana Matrata. And that's a very profound knowledge. And you can explore into it through many sources. And consciousness, the study of consciousness. That is one school of the Buddhist teaching. You see, in Mahayana Buddhism, there are 8 schools in Buddhism. One of the many schools is the psychology of Buddhism. There's also the Tiantai school, the meditation school, the chanting school, and the esoteric Buddhism school. There's so many schools, so many facets of Buddhism. I've been lecturing on consciousness, the study of consciousness for 10 days, and then I went to China to participate in the releasing of sea animals. And in this trip, we were able to acquire turtles and release them back to the ocean. Turtles catching are forbidden now internationally. Actually, our purpose is not to release turtles. Our purpose is just to go around to the market to buy fish and release the fish back to the sea. And we've been buying sharks, we've been buying all kinds of fish and release them back to the ocean. But in the process of buying, we woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and we actually went to the wholesale market for fish because it started at 4 o'clock in the morning to purchase and negotiate the prices. And after about half an hour, I was approached by someone. He said, "Do you want to release turtles?" I said, "Turtles?" Well, I said, "Turtles are forbidden." "Yes, but we caught some of them." "Well, they are really big." So I said, "Okay," because turtles live very long. And the turtles were released last time at least 200 years old. We also released 5 golden turtles. 金龟, 5 golden turtles, and each one of them is about that big. So it probably is about 500 years. The whole body is golden yellowish color. They have the beak of an eagle. Usually a turtle has a flat mouth, but this kind of turtle, golden turtle, has an eagle's beak. Very ferocious. When we're trying to touch them, it's sort of quite, not friendly at all. So we released them back to the sea. And we released 24 turtles, and they cost a lot of money. The largest one cost $90,000 renminbi, Chinese money, and which is about $10,000, maybe about $12,000. But there are people, some of my disciples in Hong Kong, they donated money to release sea animals, especially turtles, because turtles live long, and I don't know why, the Chinese like to release turtles, long-lived sea animals. So that's what I did. Very exciting, 1 month, done a lot of saving animals, stopped killing animals for food, and lecturing on Buddhism. Today, we have not been eating animal flesh, so we've been supporting non-violence to animals. We went to Thailand to release buffaloes, but I always think about how come we can't do it in Canada? There's so many retired horses in Canada that were slaughtered every day. because the acreage is not that expensive. Why can't we set up some acreage and put all those retired old horses back to the prairies, to the grassy land where they can die old age? Get into Google and see how they slaughter horses. Brutally slaughtered. Cows are brutally slaughtered. Hogs, chickens. If you see slaughterhouses, you won't stand eating meat. You see how they kill seals in Canada? The whole ocean is covered with red blood. You get into Google's, it's killing of seal. Can we humans do something about it? Or we don't care? There are people who care. That's the reason why everybody is different. Some people are really considerate, not only to humans, but to all beings. And being a Buddhist, we should learn to be considerate not only to humans, but to all beings. I bring this out. If anybody is interested, try to research more into how to save cows and horses from being slaughtered every day. How to save seal from being slaughtered. Think about it. Do something meaningful in life. Do something special. Okay, that's all for this question. All right. What should the process and what kind of mindset I should have to decide which career path I should follow, real estate or finance? I become a counselor. Counselor on what subject to study and what career to pursue, as well as how should I decide which city, country I should be to follow my life path. It's a very interesting question, and I'm very interested in answering this kind of question. I say, you go by causality. I'm sure you know where does your interest lie, real estate or finance. Yeah, there's a lot of things you should consider. The future of the finance career, the future of the real estate career. Think about what this career will lead you in a number of years to go. And think about where are your strengths and weaknesses. Maybe your strength is not in finance and your strength is in real estate. Or maybe the other way around. Analyze it by getting information. Analyze it also considering your own strengths and weaknesses. Try to explore your strength. Not just your own weaknesses. Acknowledge your weaknesses. But explore your strength. Give yourself the faith and confidence. Remember the Buddha said, whatever the mind can achieve, the mind can do. Set your mind to do something. It does not matter what kind of stormy weathers that you have to go through. It does not matter how many stumbles and falling on the road. Get up again, put in your knapsack and go on marching. Carry on. It's not every day is a rosy garden. There's a lot of stormy weather. Go through the stormy weather. The process is in the go-throughing, not just the destination. Explore more into it. Once you know that you should be doing this, set your mind fixed onto it until you become successful. You must be diligent. You must work hard though. Cherish your present moment. Read that book by Helen Keller. It's a very short booklet. It's called 3 Days to See. Helen Keller is deaf, mute, can see, can hear, can talk, in which she said, I cannot see, I cannot hear, I cannot talk. If the universe gives me 3 days to see, have the power to see, I would do all these. Day 1, I would do this. Day 2, I would do this. Day 3, I would do this. It gives you the inspiration. A handicapped person can overcome all the handicaps and become so successful. How come you can't do it? I'm sure you can do it. It's just a matter of how you set your mind onto it. What is the purpose of the wooden paddles? Sometimes if the vigilator would carry that wooden paddles to go around, if you are sleeping, for example, you're sleeping like that, he will use the wooden plank to improve your position. He won't hit you. He would just adjust the position, making sure that, because some people are meditating like this. You know, so if the vigilator comes around, he will use a wooden plank just to correct your position. to make sure that you are straight, you're upright. Okay, that's all. That's all the questions that I have answered. And thank you very much. And I expect to see you next time.